Greetings, math fans. All right, so today we're going to do a little bit more graphing, all right? And so this is day 5. And we're actually going to do more graphing lines. But we're going to use something, if you guys, you've seen it before, y equals mx plus b. This is called slope intercept form. So we've already learned a couple things. One, we've learned the m right here, that m was the slope. Okay? And remember that m, the reason it's m is, right, it's montaña, mountain in Spanish, slope of a mountain, right? Okay, so that's slope. And b is called the y-intercept because y-intercept has so many b's. Never mind, I don't really know why it's called b. But it is the y-intercept. So this is actually really important. First of all, if I draw a coordinate axis here, my xy axis, so this is your x and this is your y, please, it's the y-intercept. This is the y-axis. So whatever value this is, you are going to graph it first on here. We'll talk about this in a second, okay? But let me just write this on here. So you're going to graph this first. Whatever that number is, you're going to put it on the y-axis. It's so important. It's got to be on the y-axis. It's just going to be a number. So if it's positive, you're going to graph it up here. If it's negative, you're going to graph it down here. But it's going to be on the axis. So it's either here or here or here or here. You're going to plot that first. Okay? Then it's just like last night's homework, where if you're given a point and a slope, what do you do with the slope? You plot another point. So then we're going to use the m. After we plot the point, we're going to use the m and we're going to plot a second point, and then you're going to draw a line. Okay? So let me start with a couple basic ones and in the correct form, and you'll see what's going to go on here. Okay? So let's say I gave you a problem like y is equal to 2/3 x minus 1. Well, what you're going to do, so let me write kind of the steps down here. Our first step is we're going to plot this. So this is step 1. Okay, step 1 is plot the -1 on the y-axis. So let me draw a nice graph here. Okay. Put a couple of tick marks on there. All right, and so the -1, you're going to plot right here. Remember, it's on the y-axis. Okay, so that's the first step. And step 2, so step 2 is basically use the slope from B, what you just plotted. So from B, and I'll put what you plotted, what you just plotted. So use the slope from B, what you just plotted, and plot a second point. Okay? So basically what I'm doing is from -1, you guys should remember it's rise over run. So I'm going to go up 2, up 1, 2, and over 3. 1, 2, 3, and you plot another point. All right? And you graph it. That's it. Okay? Try to hit the point a little bit better than me. Try to be as accurate as you can. Okay? Not bad, right? So again, you plot the y-intercept and then you use the slope. So let's do a few more here, now that you kind of get the idea. Y is equal to -2x plus 3. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plot the 3 on the y-axis. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to plot that there. Okay, that's the y-intercept. Now remember what you do with the slope, guys? Put it over 1. Okay? It's really, if you have a whole number, put it over 1. Otherwise, it's going to get really complicated. Now, when you're graphing the slope, you basically, and I might have mentioned this yesterday too, but basically you have, remember it's rise over run. Now here's the deal. The negative is always going to go, if there is a negative, it's always going to go on the top. Always, always, always. It never goes on the bottom. It always goes on the top. So that means for the top, if it is a negative, you're going to go down first. And if it's positive, that means you're going to go up first. And the bottom is always going to go to the right because it's always positive. Always, always, always positive. Okay? So you got to remember that. So in this case here, it's negative 2 over 1. Okay? So from this point here, it's negative 2. So from the red dot I just plotted, negative 2, so negative 1, negative 2, and then to the right 1. And then you draw your line. Okay? And remember, it kind of helps you out. If you see that we have a negative right there, you know it's going to be a negative slope, which means you go downhill. Okay, if that was a positive, it would be going uphill. Just kind of to double check what you're doing, guys. All right? Okay, so let's try a couple more here. Y is equal to 3x minus 2. Okay, so we graph it, and we plot negative 2 first, and then it's 3 over 1. They're both positive, so from that point you go up 3 and over 1. That's all it is. So up 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 1. There's your second point, and there's your graph. Okay, try a few more. I will do this in red, I guess, because I chose that red. So y is equal to negative 4/3 x plus 2. Okay, so we go up 1, 2, we plot the point, and then what do? We go down 4. Remember, this is up or down. So in this case here, we're going down 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then over 3. 1, 2, 3. And you plot your point. Okay, and it is a negative slope, which makes sense because this is also a negative slope. We're good to go. Okay, so pretty mellow, right? Let's do a different kind of problem now. So what happens if I give you a problem that looks like this? So y minus 3x equals 2. Okay, here's the deal, guys. You have to solve for y. Before you can do any of these problems, it's obviously y equals mx plus b. You have to solve for y first. Okay, and then if you solve for y, you should have the x first and then the b after that. So what I'm going to do, this is a pretty straightforward one. I'm going to add 3x to both sides. Right? And so what you're going to get is y is equal to, that cancels out, you're going to get 3x plus 2. Please, I don't want you to do this. I don't want you to say, oh, add 3x and say y is equal to 2 plus 3x. Okay, I don't want that, because if you do that, you'll never get it in the form y equals mx plus b. It's y equals b plus mx. Okay, so you got to have the x value first, and then just the constant, or just the b value second. Okay, and then you graph this, so it's going to go up 2, and it's over 1, so then it's up 1, 2, 3, and over 1. There's your graph. Okay, so let's do a couple more solving for x. What if I had 2x minus 3y is equal to 6? Okay, again, it's not difficult. You got to solve for y. So we're going to subtract 2x from both sides. So we get negative 3y. Don't forget it's negative with that 3y. So negative 3y is equal to negative 2x plus 6. Okay, don't forget you're dividing by negative 3. Every term in here by negative 3. Negative 3. So that cancels and you get y is equal to, and what's a negative over negative is a positive, so again, be careful. So it's 2/3 x minus 2. All right, and then you graph that. So you go down to negative 2, and it's positive 2/3, so it's up 2 and over 1, 2, 3. There's your other point, and there's your graph. Kind of missed the point there a little bit. Make the dots bigger, and you're good to go. Okay? It's not bad. So again, you got to solve for y. for all these problems you get into form y equals mx plus b. Now really the one I kind of want to caution you guys about is when you, let's give you a problem like this. So if I say 4y plus x equals 8. Well, again, I'm going to subtract x from both sides, and I get 4y is equal to negative x plus 8. And I'm going to divide everything by 4. And you get y is equal to negative x over 4 plus 2. Now here's the deal, math fan. This is actually kind of complicated, this guy right here. If I ask you guys to graph this, because what's a slope? The slope truly is negative 1/4. So the way I'd like you guys to write this, if you do divide, there's really a 1 here. So what I'd like you guys to do, as opposed to saying negative x over 4, I'd like you to say negative 1 over 4x. It's the same thing, okay? And that's above, right? It's like that 1/4 x. It's just much easier. So you're basically saying y is equal to negative 1/4 x plus 2. It's much easier to graph. Because now when I graph this baby, I graph 1, 2, and then negative 1/4. So down 1 over 4. So down 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4. And you graph it. Okay? So that's y is equal to negative 1/4 x plus 2. All right? So that's basically, you know, oh, I got a couple more here, because I want to make sure you guys are good to go here. What if I give you something like this? Y is equal to 2/3 x. So what's the value of b? Okay? The value of b is 0, because there's nothing here. So b is equal to 0. So that's your y-intercept. And what I'd like you guys to do, when you guys give me an intercept, you should always tell me it's 0, 0, right? If b was 5, you should say 0, 5. It's just much easier and cleaner that way when you plot the point. So here we go. I'm going to plot 0. This is 0 right there. The y is equal to 0. X is 0 and y is 0. So first point is right here, and then from there I go up 2 and over 3. So up 2 and over 3. Okay? And that's your graph. All right, so if you have nothing here, it's 0. All right, cool. So there's two other kind of problems I think I'd like to talk about here. So if I gave you y is equal to 3, what kind of line is that? You guys should remember, an upside down y is an h. Well, that's a horizontal line. So that means I go to 3, 1, 2, 3 on the y-axis, and I draw a horizontal line. That's the answer to that problem. Okay? So you got to remember, we learned about this yesterday actually, right? Y is equal to 3 is a horizontal line. It has no x, just a y. And same thing if I said x is equal to 3. This has no y. So remember what that looks like? You're going to, first of all, you're going to plot 3. Okay, on the x-axis, and then remember, it's what kind of line? It's a vertical line. And there's your graph. That's x equals 3, a vertical line. So a vertical line. Okay, let's talk about the slopes of these, if you guys remember. What's the slope of a horizontal line? So m is equal to what? 0. Remember, 0 slope. 0 slope is like walking, I don't know, just walking on flat land. Slope is 0. 0 slope. And this one, what's the slope of this one? M is undefined. Okay, which just means under, right? If you kind of go under, undefined, under, however you want to look at it, but that is undefined. That's the slope of that. All right, so just be careful what I'm asking for. If I'm asking for the slope, tell me it's 0 or undefined. If I'm asking you to graph a line, just make sure y equals 3. It's a horizontal line. X equals 3. That is a vertical line. Okay? Let's look at the y-intercepts now, just because we need to kind of finish that off. So if I ask you for a y-intercept for this graph, remember, y-intercept just means where's it crossing the y-axis? Do you guys agree it's crossing right here? It's crossing the y-axis at 0, 3. So we'll write it out. 0, 3. Okay? Let's look at this one. Where's the y-intercept? Where's it crossing the y-axis? It's not. Here's the y-axis. It's not even crossing it. So you're going to tell me none. Please don't tell me 0. It's not 0. 0 means in the middle right here, and it's not. There's no place across that y-axis, so the y-intercept is none. Okay? So that's it. Pretty much, math fans here. Again, no y-intercept and slope is undefined, and here's the y-intercept. Where it crosses again the y-axis, and the slope for this one is 0. All right. So that's it, math fans, for graphing y equals mx plus b, and hopefully you guys are good to go. Have an outstanding night. Adios. Goodbye.